you're not gonna believe what I have in this box. Well, you probably are, because you probably saw the thumbnail and the title, so you probably already know what's in this box, which is why it is so dumb whenever YouTube video starts with, you're not gonna believe. We know, dude. You put it in the thumbnail and the title. We know. All that to say, today we are going to be reviewing the PXG Hellcat Zero Torque Putter, which I am incredibly excited about. As always, we're going to be reviewing this club from 7 key features, and at the end, we're going to be answering the final question, smash or pass. Is this a club you should smash your putts with, or is this a club you should pass on putting in the bag? Now, to kick things off, I debated opening this package and having the putter ready, but if you've ever watched Casey Neistat and you remember his series Mail Time, that was one of my all-time favorite things on YouTube. I just liked watching him destroy boxes and see what's inside. So we're gonna see how this PXG came packaged. First of all, inside the box, we have another box. And inside this box, we have the Hellcat ZT Zero Torque Putter. You know, you're not gonna buy a putter because of the box, but I love when unboxing a golf club feels like an experience. You know, sometimes they just come in cardboard. You're spending a lot of money on these clubs. It should feel like an experience. PXG, nice job. This feels like an experience, and I like this experience. Now let's talk about this head cover. This is some kind of like waxed canvas. PXG, this needs to be leather. Like, this thing has to be leather. We cannot do this waxed canvas. This needs to be leather. That being said, thankfully, this is magnet. I will die on this hill. All club head covers should be magnet. If you are team magnet, please comment below. No more Velcro 2025. From now on, all putter covers need to be magnet. That's so much better than Velcro. Velcro, magnet. I do my club reviews. I focus on 7 key areas: form, features, function, feel, forgiveness, finances, and then ultimately I give this a final score out of 10. When it comes to form, that is where this club really stands out. Unlike other lie angle or zero torque putters, this genuinely looks like a blade. Now, I know the Lab Link one claims to look like a blade, but that is not what a blade looks like. That looks like a brick on a stick. This is what a blade looks like. So overall, this is a really good looking putter. It's got the simple PXG branding right there. It's got PXG Hellcat on the bottom, which is a little bit too flashy for my liking, but overall it's not too bad. And in general, this just looks like a clean, classic blade putter. Features of this club is where this thing really starts to impress. This features zero torque technology, meaning as you bring the club back and forth throughout the putter motion, there's not going to be any torque. So any movement that you cause is because of your hand, not because of the club. In order for that to be possible with a blade style putter, they have to have this really angled hosel. If you notice, if this shaft were to continue into the club head, it would actually be a center shafted club like all lie angle balance, but instead they have this really bent hosel, which still allows this to detach at the heel, similar to a traditional blade. This club features 4 degrees of loft, but because the shaft is actually angled and there is a forward press grip, this actually ends up playing at 3 degrees of loft. Now, PXG has their own version of the press grip like Lab has or TaylorMade has, and you'll notice this shaft is actually entered in at an angle to this grip. What this allows for you to do is have 4 degrees of loft and some angle to the shaft, but when you put the club down at address, it still feels more like a traditional putter. Right off the bat, I have to say though, I hate this PXG grip. If you'll notice, it's almost entirely square or rectangle and it feels really obscure in the hands. But like most things with grips, that is up to preference. Some people might really like that. Personally, I think it feels terrible. Also features PXG's pyramid face technology, which supposedly is supposed to help with a consistent feel and performance across the whole face. I guess the technology is supposed to line up with the dimples on a golf ball. To me, that feels like marketing. That feels a little bit gimmicky, but still, there's a lot of cool technology and features packed into this club. In order to test functionality, we're gonna be doing 4 different tests. First, we're gonna roll 10 putts from 5 feet, then 10 putts from 10 feet. Then we're gonna do a ladder drill where I put a putt every 4 feet and see how far back we can make it. Finally, we're gonna wrap up with some distance control tests and roll some putts from 50 plus feet and see aggregate how many feet away we are from the hole. Okay, starting off with some 5-footers. You know, right off the bat, I just have to say I do not like how this club lines up at the ball. I understand in order to make a blade zero torque, you have to do some manipulation with the shaft and with the hosel, but it looks really, really funky at address. That's just personal, but right off the bat, do not like how this lines up. Let's see how this rolls. Hated that. Yo, I am not a fan so far, but we'll keep testing. But I am not a fan, but we'll keep testing. Okay, that was pretty bad. I'll save my comments for the end. Let's go do some 10-footers and see how that goes. I cannot commit to, I hate this thing. It feels so awkward with the grip. Like I feel so uncomfortable with how you have to set this up. And I just feel like I'm manipulating the face every putt. I don't know what to say. You know, I'm struggling with something. I think what I'm struggling with is I really want to love this putter. There's a few things that are happening in the golf industry that I think kind of suck for everyone. The first is the price of clubs. So many clubs are $500+ now, and golf is already a sport that's kind of hard to access financially. This club is only $250. And I say only as if that's not a lot of money. That's still a lot of money, but compared to alternatives, it's pretty affordable. So I really want to love this club because of the price point. I also love innovation, and I think this is probably the best attempt I've seen at putting light angle balance in a blade style putter. But man, I'll tell you, so far, I hate how this club performs. And I'll call out the fact I'm not the best putter in the world, but I'm better than that. This just does not line up with my eye. The way that the shaft is angled felt really uncomfortable, and I can't get over how uncomfortable this square feeling grip is. So far, not off to a hot start, but we still got a couple tests. Let's see how those go. Next up, we got the ladder drill. The rules of the ladder drill are simple. We have a putt every 4 feet. If you make the putt, you continue. If you miss the putt, you're done. One miss and it's over. You make it keep going. So far, the record is 3 with the TaylorMade ZT Spider. Let's see how far back I can go with this. First putt, 4 feet. Come on. 1 for 1. 1, I made 1. I kind of hate this thing. Our next test is distance control. I'm rolling 5 putts from 50+ feet. Let's see how many total feet away from the hole our second shot is. First putt. Pretty solid, better than I do with most zero torque putters. Let's total these up. 4 feet, 8 feet, 11 feet, 14.5 feet, 19 feet. That's pretty solid. That's actually the best yet from the distance control. Not bad. I don't know how exactly to say this without just saying this, but I would categorize the feel of this putter as not good. It just doesn't feel great. Feels kind of hollow, kind of tingy. It's just not for me. I just don't love how this club feels. I feel like I can't really feel the club. It's just kind of like a dead, empty feeling. It's a bad feeling. It's not a feeling I like. When it comes to forgiveness, I think it's fine. It's kind of like a standard blade, a little bit of zero torque. You know, I kind of feel like this club operates in this nebulous where you don't get like the beautiful aesthetics of a blade or that amazing feel of like a milled blade. And you don't fully seem to get the forgiveness or the advantages of a true lie angle balance, zero torque mallet. So it's kind of like okay at everything, but good at nothing. Kind of like a generalist, a jack of all trades, a master of none. So I wouldn't say it's super forgiving. It's just kind of meh. So overall, I'm pretty disappointed with this PXG Hellcat ZT. Let's wrap things up. When it comes to form, I'm giving this a 8 out of 10. That is my favorite part of this putter. If you want a lie angle balance putter, a zero torque putter, and you like a blade, I think this is the best option out there. So we'll go 8 out of 10. And when it comes to features, I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. I'm just so impressed that PXG was able to fit a zero torque putter into this small of a head and make it look like a blade. And there's a lot of technology going on with this club with the forward press shaft, this kind of funky pyramid style face insert. There's a lot going into this, and I just appreciate innovation, and I appreciate PXG pushing the boundaries of a zero torque putter. So I'm gonna go with a 10 out of 10. Now it's time to get brutally honest about the function of this club. I'm giving it a literal 2 out of 10. I know that's harsh, but I've genuinely never felt worse over a putter than I have with this. Between the aggressive forward press, this really weird grip, and the alignment and crazy hosel action going on here, it did the opposite of inspire confidence in my putt. I missed a ton of those putts. A lot of it might be my fault, but I just genuinely hated how this looked over the ball. So 2 out of 10. I'm sorry. Now let's talk about the forgiveness of this club. I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. Nothing crazy, nothing too alarming, pretty much just run-of-the-mill forgiveness. I think I'm gonna give it above a 5 just because it's 0 torque, so in theory it should be more forgiving than other clubs. So 6 out of 10 forgiveness. When it comes to feel, I hated it. I hate how this club feels. It feels like cheap and hollow, and I know it's not. I know it's nice. The feel is subjective, and it's my channel. I do not at all like how this club feels. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10. The only reason this isn't getting a 0 is because I guess in theory there's probably worse feeling putters out there. I have yet to try one, but I gotta leave a little room to go down. So 3 out of 10. Last up, let's talk about finances, and this is getting an easy 10 out of 10. 250 bucks for a putter with all this technology is an amazing deal, and I love that PXG is making these more accessible. It sucks how expensive golf is. It literally seems like the barrier to entry, not just to play the sport, but to buy the equipment, to get the lessons. Everything is crazy expensive. $250 is an awesome price point. That seems way more accessible to way more people. I love that PXG is actually working to bring market prices down instead of just going up and up and up. 10 out of 10 from finances. Now that our 6 categories are done, that gives us a final score of this plus this plus this plus this. This was this 6.5 out of 10. Honestly, that's higher than I probably would have just given this flat out of 10, which is why my rating system's awesome. 6.5 out of 10. And now the ultimate question, smash or pass. Is this something you should smash putts with or pass on putting in the bag? And I think the answer is clear. I genuinely cannot recommend that anyone uses this putter. And I hate to say that. I was really rooting for this. I was excited about the technology, the look, the price point. This is not a putter I would really recommend. I wouldn't even necessarily push people to try it out. I love the idea behind it. I love the attempts, but I'm really disappointed in the results. And I really, really hope that PXG takes returns because I'm shipping this thing back. So I hope you liked my review today. And if you want more awesome golf content from on-course vlogs to reviews, please stay tuned. I just ordered the Tacoma 101 irons, the Tacoma 101T irons, the Tacoma wedges, the Tacoma driver, the Kirkland iron, the Tacoma 301 CBs, and a Peretti putter from Costco. All of those reviews are gonna be dropping over the next couple months. So if you liked this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. It's really hard to grow a YouTube channel today, especially when you're competing with the amazing channels out there. So if you remotely like the content today, please consider dropping a like, dropping a comment, and subscribing. Remember, these are the good old days, and this is Good Old Days Golf. Thanks for watching.